Warrior Queen. He had a peep over the right shoulder, and she's going to blow them away. But Northerly, Danny Miller, pumping away, and Northerly wins the railway.
Welcome to Racing Rewind. Our panel will review and digest the Prime WA Saturday Thoroughbred meeting from 24 hours earlier. If you have an opinion, send a text to 0427 789 571.
Galaxy Star draws away from them. Pike Magician.
All right, welcome to Racing Rewind. 8 minutes past 8 for your Sunday morning. 27 degrees in Perth. Gee, she's warm early on this Sunday. Was it raining outside, guys, as we welcome Richard Bell and Matt French to the studio?
It wasn't raining when I came in, but on the sand this morning, on the beach sand, I noticed little indentations in the sand, which meant it must have been raining in the previous couple of hours.
It was raining a lot of last night, I know that. Matt French, good morning to you.
Morning, boys. I can certainly tell you I have no idea if it was raining on the beach this morning, Richie. So,
I don't think there's too many people that would be able to fill us in on that, but Richie's certainly one of them. Making your debut on Racing Rewind this morning, Rich?
Yes, got up nice and early this morning with horses just galloping through my head all night. And I was waking up about every hour and a half.
Why were they galloping through your head? What were you thinking about?
Just runs from yesterday and, thinking about the Karrakatta and the Oaks and the Derby and what I was actually going to say to you this morning.
Are you calling any of those big meetings coming up? I think you called Karrakatta last year, did you? Or was it
No,
you called the Millies Jill Roma Cup Day. That was right.
I think so, yeah. I have called one Karrakatta, but it was many, many years ago. Luke's Luck came right down the outside.
Yep.
Yeah, they were spread across the track. It wasn't an easy call, I must say, and I haven't called one since, probably why.
I think you're being a bit harsh there, Rich.
And I'm calling the Bunbury Cup on this Saturday. Yeah, this Saturday's the Bunbury Cup and the Bunbury Stakes, so that should be really good.
That'd be a beauty.
Yeah, but none of the features after that. Darren will be back in business. I think he's just away these 2 Saturdays.
Oh, well, you were calling features yesterday, and there were 2 really good ones. The 2 3-year-old, of course, Derby and Oaks lead-ups. It was Russian to the Bar, who survived a protest to beat a lot of good men, and that was in the Lex Piper and Own the Queen. They own the Dream Horse, defeated Miss Sky High in the Ascot 1000 Guineas. We'll chat more in depth about those races a little bit later on. First of all, what do we make of the track yesterday?
Thought it was very hard to make ground yesterday. There was a howling breeze going headwind straight into the track. So those horses up on pace were clearly favoured all day, and I think we saw that with some of the results, Rich. I think you made a few comments with it during the runs as well, like very, very tough.
Yeah, exactly right. When you've got to put heavy weights on your race book when you open the window, you realise there's a bit of a breeze blowing, and you had to be sort of up there. I mean, you didn't have to be, but it wasn't a swooping type of day where you could think, the field's going to pack and you're going to come around the outside on the corner and make ground from 8th or 9th. But if you did get going before the corner, we saw a couple of winners, Own the Queen and Bon Joy, come down the centre of the track to win.
Yep, but they were the worst position starting on the turn for the whole day, and they were fifth on the turn.
That's right, exactly.
And they were the ones who were able to get over the top. So
yeah.
I think it was, if you're coming from anywhere behind midfield, it was very, very tough. And if you did make some ground, I think it's a black book type of run that we can look at into the future.
I think it adds merit, to Bon Joy's performance in the first, which we'll talk about, because I think Bruce went super on the day, Bruce Almighty, and we know he can be a tough horse to run down when he gets his own way. And for Bon Joy to do what it did there, I thought it was quite exceptional. We'll go into that race a little bit more later on, but just we're going to have a talk about the stewards' reports from yesterday, but the big race was, in terms of action, was the Lex Piper, and there's quite a bit that's come out of this race, Matt, if you want to talk us through that, because there was a bit going on between Chris and also Paul, of course, who fought out the finish in the end, but there was something going on towards the back of the field in that first couple of hundred too, involving 3 jockeys.
Yeah, there was, with Royal Tornado, Buckets Ridge and Autumn Rebel. So it was near the 1,400 metres with initial evidence was taken, and then they've adjourned it to a time and date into the future, because I think it was because of Paul Harvey lodging the protest in the same race. So he was otherwise occupied trying to get the result overturned. And then we also had the protest as well at the 1,400 metre mark from where Paul obviously thought Chris had moved out, and the stewards just determined that Chris had held his own line, and I thought it was the right of the day, to be honest, to be able to keep the Pontiff out 3 wide from barrier 2. He made a concerted effort to make sure he was in the running line, and he made sure his main opposition in the race was posted, and I think that's probably won him the race.
Yeah, he just kept being off the fence there, Chris, and in the end it was considered to be fair riding. And in terms of the other horses who were inconvenienced towards the back of the field, it might have been a consequence of Paul coming back slightly, and well, I think that will be CJP's argument without wanting to preempt anything, and not sure how nervous he is about this inquiry.
But there was also a busy day as well out there for the stewards as well. So we had race 2, Craig Staples was suspended for careless riding for 10 days. So that's starting as of midnight last night, and that was on board Battle Commander. He crossed a little bit too early, and you could see the cascade effect that had occurred, and it was only very marginal, but it flowed back through 4 or 5 horses in the 2-year-old race. So 10 days for Craig. Sean Rains reprimanded for a poorly shod Wodgetech presenting on course. Brad Parnham got another reprimand in race 7 for careless riding. Paul Harvey, $300 for whip breaches on A Lot of Good Men. Chris Parnham, $750 for whip breaches on Rush Into the Bar. So there was a lot of vigour in that race. And then we've also got a few that have to go back to trials, and Lexington City needs an ECG clearance before coming back to the races.
Yeah, 5 additional uses, Chris, on Rush Into the Bar, and 2 for Paul Harvey, hence the value of those fines, Alex.
It must be one of the most frustrating days like yesterday for participants and stewards and all concerned. But there's so much ambiguity regarding when races are going to be, because one lightning strike and you automatically put back half an hour.
Yes, we all set the watches as soon as we saw a lightning strike.
Yeah.
It was like 30-minute countdown basically. But look, I did want to say it was a marathon out there yesterday, Rich. We were both out there obviously calling, and to get through all of them with the lightning activity, I thought it was a good effort. And you saw some instances where the horses would be coming out onto the track, and all of a sudden they'd be like, they'd have to go straight back into the pre-parade ring. So I liked the initiatives they took, not coming out to the parade ring, straight pre-parade, straight out into the warm-up. So to get through all 9, and when was the last? Was it 6:24 or something from a 12:30 start? I thought it was a good effort to be able to spin it around as they did, and I think it needs to be commended on how they managed it. But it was an eerie feeling on course at about 6:15, that's for certain.
Yeah, no, it was as facile as it could have been. I agree with you.
24 minutes between the 8th and the 9th there yesterday. We'll catch up with Luke Fernie a little bit later on in the hour. Of course, Luke had success with the Rush Into the Bar in the Lex Piper Stakes, and his team just in general have been absolutely airborne over the last month or so. He's had a fair few feature winners and just winners in general.
Not just the last month. I looked at his stats for this season. He's going at 16.5% winners with 44% place getters. Remarkable season he's having.
He's still got Ripcord to come back in the next few weeks.
He's had a few of the unplaced runners have been pretty unlucky as well. We saw his 2-year-old yesterday.
Today, yeah.
Yeah, it ran 4th.
At your service, and Indy Ruler, if stayed on a straight line, might have been a different story as well.
Back to the trials route.
It's 16 minutes past 8 o'clock. We'll kick off race 1 after this. Minutes past 8 o'clock. You're on Racing Rewind with Alex Vlahos, Richard Bell and Matt French. Bit of a different lineup in studio this morning. Of course, Lockie Taylor's trying snowboarding on the slopes of Japan. Not sure how he's going out there. And, of course, Michael Heaton and Scott Embry making their way down to Esperance for the big Freightlines Group Esperance Cup day today. Big couple of days of racing in WA, of course. It is the Esperance Cup today. The Rose of York at York tomorrow. Are you there, Rich?
Yes, really looking forward to it. I really like one, actually, in the Rose of York. We'll talk about that
a little bit later on when we get your Esperance tips as well. And also for the harness racing side of things, Pinjarra Cup Day tomorrow should be a big day. 10 to 5 is the big one, and should be a great day on course at Pinjarra. So whether you get to Pinjarra or York, get out to one of our race meetings for public holiday racing tomorrow. All right, let's kick off our review. Race 1 of the program, the Morley Growers Market Handicap over the 1,600 metres, and This mare is absolutely flying. Bonjoy from the Jason Miller stable into $1.45 at closing time with fixed odds tab touch yesterday.
Marty just got away from Birdie Eagles under a lot of pressure, so is Featherweight, and then Material Witness. Bonjoy's got a bit to do, 6 away from the leader in the straight, and Bruce Almighty bounded clear. Bruce Almighty led by 2 lengths on the outside, trying hard. Birdie Eagle, Bonjoy's coming down the outside, and then Material Witness. The leader, Bruce Almighty. Bonjoy's coming. Bruce Almighty with Bonjoy all over the top. Bonjoy raced up, took the lead from Bruce Almighty, Material Witness, and Bonjoy comes away for another big win. Bonjoy beat Bruce Almighty, who was game in defeat. Third, Material Witness, then Birdie Eagle, followed by the sprint.
Yes, Bonjoy, this horse going great guns from the Jason Miller stable. That's 4 in a line, and was very impressive yesterday, winning over the mile, defeating Bruce Almighty, who was gallant as always out in front, of Material Witness down in third.
Yeah, always shown a lot of ability right from the beginning of the career, ran second in its debut run behind Give Me One Reason, which was going well at the time. That was back in October 2022. And then won a couple of races at Ascot and looked pretty good, and then just tapered maybe going into the Champion Fillies, and then came back and had a reasonable campaign again with a couple of wins, and that was off a 186-day spell, and then has come back this campaign, and after a first-up run where it finished 4th behind D'Amba Vampire playing Wonder Weapon, it's just gone bang, 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 bang with 4 exceptional victories, Matt.
Yeah, couldn't summarise the campaign any better than that, Richie. Like 4 in a row now, and is charging through the grades. I think their camp will be looking at doing another 72 plus in 2 or 3 weeks' time, and then it's out to the paddock for her after a very successful campaign so far. So I think that's the plan for her, and then to come back for the carnival. I think I heard the camp say yesterday. So she's going places, and yesterday it was probably not the race shape we thought was going to happen, with Bruce Almighty absolutely leaping from the gates and being able to take up the running position in the lead, where we probably all mapped Material Witness, but we can see she hit the barrier gates just prior to the start. So because of that, commenced awkwardly, lost ground and wasn't able to lead. So I thought as soon as that happened, that was Material Witness done. It's a much better free rolling type out in front. And Bruce stuck on well, I thought, for a horse that had to chase down in Bonjoy. Stuck on well.
Yeah, Bruce Almighty basically was dropping collectively in class on a few of its previous runs, and once it was able to get its own way in front, you always knew it was going to slip before the corner and be hard to run down. I thought it was a terrific effort, but it also, the fact the track was playing the way it did, as we mentioned earlier, you add an extra tick to that win of Bonjoy.
Absolutely. You could see CJ just kind of nursing it through as well in the last 150. Like he knew what he had underneath him, and he just wanted her to get in front and not really push her as far as he needed to. Out of this race as well, we saw Featherweight is now going sent for a spell as well. And I just wanted to touch on the Spruker. It came out last. It was hit a dead spot at about the 500 or the 600, and then only finished 5 off these under very little riding. It seemed to pick up again. So I thought it was a bit of an odd run, and I would imagine the Wolf Camp will be looking to get him over further now, possibly the 18 or 2,000 metre race.
Yeah, it was certainly eye-catching, that final 100 metres. It closed in on Birdie Eagle, and Birdie Eagle battled away after breezing, and a fair effort. But out of the race, yeah, I agree. I think the Spruker, if he draws soft, we saw him win when he crept up on the fence a couple of starts ago, and if he gets that sort of run again, he could be a hard horse to beat. And of course, if Material Witness jumps cleanly at its next start and finds the front, so tough at the moment. This horse has just risen to another level this campaign.
Each way odds every time it goes around as well, so it'll be probably getting me.
All right, if you want to join in the conversation this morning, 0427 789 571, 0427 789 571. We'll read out some text messages after this next race, which was the Amelia Park Plate for the 2-year-olds. And the favourite was Angel's Impact from the Mark Sandhitch. She had really good support late for Bustling from the Dan Morton stable in Oakland Park.
To win another favourite. Angel's Impact got hampered there and got pushed out 4 wide as they come up towards the home turn with 400 to go. Battle Commander quickly joined by Bustling. My Zoom is on the scene with a really good run though, and they've raced away. Angel's Impact's right down the outside, but still 5 off the pace. Bursting clear as Bustling. Bustling leads by 2.5 and doing it well from Battle Commander. Angel's Impact. My Zoom had no gear. Jackpot Bingo late with Timeless Gem, but Bustling's going to bolt in, and Bustling wins well by 2.25. quarter, Battle Commander, a good run after working. Third, Angel's Impact, and fourth in At Your Service.
Yeah, really nice win there to Bustling. Heavily supported late. Started at around $4. Gets the cash for Oakland Park and Dan Morton. Out of a former very good Oakland Park 2-year-old filly in Busymas. Gets the cash from Battle Commander, Angel's Impact, and At Your Service. Both good runs on paper, guys, I think, into third and fourth.
Yeah, definitely. But Bustling was superb. We saw it win its trial pretty comfortably after it showed really good speed and then dashed away and scored pretty impressively from a horse we haven't seen yet in Anabolistic from the Stephen Milliard, who I believe Tim Gossage has got a share in as well. But, gee, Bustling looked really good there. To do that on the speed, ran some really good time as well at 1:10.07. I thought it was a very impressive effort and has to come into a Karrakatta calculations, Matt.
Yeah, and that's exactly where Danny Morton was talking about post race as well. So I think that was the reason for the delay in the between the first and the second trial. I think it was 6 or 7 weeks. So that sole reason is to make sure that this horse could possibly be up for this time of year. So quite exciting moving forward. We saw in this race Craig Staples move over at the 700-metre mark and cause interference. So that's the reason for his 10 days on the sidelines at the moment. I thought it was a good effort, though, from Battle Commander. Had to do some work from barrier 10 to get over. Got over and then was probably only run down by, as we say, quite a promising one moving forward. Alex, as you touched upon, Angel's Impact was very, very hard to ignore yesterday. It was, I thought it was a great run in the Magic Millions, and yesterday, if there was any ability to make ground, I thought Angel's Impact was going to be a very good horse to be looking at. But just the wind and the fact that he's made up that much ground in itself is a big flashing run for myself, along with At Your Service, as you rightly pointed out. This horse was weaving in and out between runners in the straight for its first start, and geez, how good is the Fernie Camp going here, fourth at $20, and you'd say unlucky not to be in the top three as well.
Yeah, we'll talk to Luke about where At Your Service is heading, but it was certainly held up for about 100 metres at the top of the straight quite severely before it saw some daylight, and as you said, it was zigging and zagging after that. As for some of the others, some interesting runs in the race. Jackpot Bingo, who's a long striding type, got back in the field. I thought its last couple of hundred was superb.
She'll be one of my follows as well.
Yeah, got home really hard. Another one to have a look at is Sir Dreamalot, who ran third last, getting beaten 9.5, but you basically forget it went round. It was held up at the back of the field and it only saw daylight in the final 75 metres or so. And even in that little space of time, you could see it was picking up. So for a horse that ran third last, I think Sir Dreamalot is one to follow. My Zoom had no zoom. Geez, it loomed up. A few of them did that yesterday. Yarra Lee was another one.
Yeah, Yarra Lee in the following race. But yeah, no, I thought My Zoom was given every chance here as well, and just seemed to just lose a gear upon straightening. I thought that was probably the disappointing run of the race. I just thought it had every chance, especially with the pace and the on-speed pattern of the day yesterday.
Yeah, My Zoom, no zoom. And just looking at the Karrakatta and with this horse Bustling now emerging as a real chance, we have at the head of the market, I'd imagine, Golden Kathleen, who has looked outstanding. The win at Bunbury was superb. And we'll talk to Luke about the progression of Big Shots, who's right there as the highest rated horse at the moment as a 74 rater. Horses like Mad Eye Girl, who was terrific at Pinjarra. Golden Vale, jury out a little bit after its last run, if they can bounce it back. You got the Pierce youngsters, who are pretty quick. Sinful Living, Blue Rocket looked really good when it was leading all the way. And then, of course, Rusty's got another couple of candidates.
He does. I know Golden Kathleen was about $8 favourite all in a few days ago, so it'll be interesting to see how that market chops and changes moving forward.
Yeah, and Rusty's got Goldmaker and Earthstorm, who were both slashing runs when coming down the outside to fill the placings recently, Alex. So this Karrakatta, you can look down the page, and even horses have been finishing midfield and even further back in a few races where they've been unlucky. You wouldn't completely rule them out. And then you've got a horse like Define Angel's Impact, who was brilliant yesterday, and at Pinjarra, and Define Beautiful, who was also very good at Pinjarra, coming off a setback. So there's plenty of depth.
Race number 3 on the program was the Tap Touch Westbeat Platinum Handicap, and the favourite Full of Merit from the Luciani stable just ahead of Yarra Lee.
from the inside and travelled up well. Arnie's Boys under pressure. Marinsky Ballet, Fortunes Luck, Canny Jack, Misintention, and Lucky Hard around the turn. Here's Yarralee making a quick move on the outside. Yarralee coming after Full of Merit. Boab Boy the inside with Castille de Largo, and Fortunes Luck is starting to run on as well. It's Full of Merit. Boab Boy with Yarralee. Boab Boy fighting hard just in front of Full of Merit. Yarralee the outside, but Boab Boy a tough win. Boab Boy has won from Full of Merit and a nose away third. Yarralee from Fortunes Luck. Marinsky Ballet was working home nicely.
Okay, that was race number 3. Good to see Brad Pope get some feature success in the city, or some success in the city, I should say, with Boab Boy. Goes really well for Lucy Fiore, winning there yesterday from Full of Merit and Yarralee in what was a relatively condensed finish over the concluding stages.
Yeah, one of the keys to this race was early on, because Wojtek, who usually begins well, missed the start a bit and had to be pumped along, and Lucy was a possibility of having to drag back into 4th place, but then Keshaw, who was pumping hard to get up on the speed with Wojtek after missing the start, ducked in behind the leader there, and that was key because it meant that Lucy could really control things there with Boab Boy, Matt, outside the leader.
Certainly was, and yeah, it was good to see the Pope Stable get a win here as well. Gritty on pace win, sitting outside the lead. Yarralee behind as well. Box seat, I thought had every conceivable chance yesterday, mapped perfectly for it, and I just call it Yarralee again. 24 starts for 8 placings now, so consistent as ever. And the only other real run in the race I thought was Misintention, came from last and was a good first up run. She'll get better second up and over further.
And Marinsky Ballet was the other one who picked up ground from worse than midfield down the outside, but wasn't the pattern of the day. And just looking at her in the yard, I thought maybe just needed that one run, so could be on song next start, Marinsky Ballet.
Race 4 in the program was the Mrs. Max Handicap, and it was 2 from the Taylor Yard, Son of the Boss, and also Ginnivan, and 2 from the Miller Yard, Rupert's Empire, and also Lexington City, who headed betting.
He's flying up on the outside of Madam Kisses, coming up towards a home turn. 4.50 to go. Son of the Boss leads Golden Fighter, pushed along. Ginnivan wide out. Lexington City right behind Son of the Boss, who's going okay. Son of the Boss just got away. Bit of lightning in the background as well. It's a length and a half in front. Golden Fighter's run really well. Keeps coming on the outside. Son of the Boss in front of Golden Fighter. Son of the Boss, Golden Fighter draws level. Golden Fighter, Son of the Boss, then Norwich Golden Fighter. Son of the Boss split the line. Photo finish. Or couldn't split them. Golden Fighter or Son of the Boss, who came back hard. And
there was a real head bobber there on the line, and it was Golden Fighter, this recent acquisition from New South Wales for Sean Rains. Has been racing really well in Geraldton. Set outside of the lead yesterday with, of course, Son of the Boss from the Taylor Stable taking it up, and it was a real drive to the line. Again, guys, they couldn't make much ground.
Yeah, underestimated for sure, Golden Fighter. The win at Geraldton was superb, and you don't have to be any kind of star to come down and win one of these 1,000-metre races at the moment in town. They're mixing them up, and there's a lot of speed often in the race, and it's determined by whether a horse can get over or not. Like Ginnivan yesterday, it drifted massively in the market because it was just going to get caught out there. It's exactly what happened. There was so much speed underneath. But Golden Fighter was really brave there, Matt, I thought, sitting outside the leader and just wouldn't give an inch.
No, look, I know it got conditions to suit, but it did it the tradesman's way, I thought. Breezing yesterday, and yeah, geez, I tell you what, good call, Rich, because it was very, very tight on the line. It was nostril splitting margins, and well done on Kesh to get the bob right. I thought it was a good ride, and 1-2 in running, and that's pretty much the story of this race, I thought, with only Madame Kisses didn't get much room running on into this race. Good 1,000-metre horse, but just didn't get track conditions to suit, and I was surprised to see the support yesterday for Rupert's Empire, drawn barrier 8, get back horse, run on, and probably 3 lengths off. That's not a bad run, I thought, all things considered.
Yeah, he was a bit erratic early, sort of getting the head up a little bit when he got into that 3-deep line, but didn't quite finish it off all that strongly. Madam Kisses was getting home better than it through in the middle. Son of the Boss was really good again. It's a good, honest speedster, and almost got away with another victory. Norwich is racing well, got shuffled back a bit yesterday. Usually races a touch closer, and thought it was pretty brave to get into 3rd place. Lexington City had fibrillation.
Well done to Sean Rains as well, his first Saturday Metro winner. The trainer from Geraldton just has a small team, does plenty of miles with his horses up to Carnarvon for their season. Races in Geraldton, of course, comes down to Perth and even goes down to Pinjarra and Bunbury at times. He does plenty of miles, does a great job, and well done to Sean. Much deserved win yesterday, and a bit of a remedy because he's at home fighting COVID. Unfortunately, couldn't be on track yesterday. Well done to Sean and the team. few people that seem to fill up with icebergs getting up in the last yesterday.
Strong support in it for the last few minutes, and I think the only people remaining on course were all on icebergs as well.
Yeah, there was a huge tip on it all around the track throughout the day that this was just going to win. Didn't win by much.
Rich, you've actually got a text from David Short. Great to have Shorty listening in this morning. Big part of the aftermath. And he's just reminded you that you still can't remember. You actually called a second Karrakatta plate, Luke's Luck winning, but also you called Hobart Jones winning. You still can't remember it.
I know. It's freakish, isn't it? You know probably why. Because trauma sticks with you.
Well,
and my Luke's Luck call wasn't very good. But the Hobart Jones call was okay. But the one that has stuck with me is the Luke's Luck call. Yeah, and that's the way the human brain works, unfortunately.
I can understand that for sure. All right, let's move on to race number 5 on the program, the Peters Investments Handicap, and this was, again, wide open. I think on start time it was Indy Ruler, who was a narrow favourite at around $3.80 from the Luke Fernie stable. Let's have a listen to the back end.
5.50 to go. Indy Ruler by half. Tin Snip running a race first up. Vampire Play moved up nicely into third. Excel Train the inside. The leader swung wide because Indy Ruler hung off. Snow Prince got a beautiful run in the centre, and down the outside is Valsacina. Snow Prince has raced up and shot to the lead and is looking good inside the 100. Down the outside, Vampire Play, but Snow Prince has broken clear. Excel Train, Vampire Play, Indy Ruler supportive, and then Valsacina, but Snow Prince is going to bolt in. Snow Prince by 1 3/4 to Vampire Play, Indy Ruler third.
Yeah, well found by a few punters as well yesterday, including Taylor Cortland on the late mail service here at TAB Radio, found Snow Prince, and this was a really emphatic win in the end, just under 2 lengths, defeating Vampire Play and the wayward Indy Ruler.
Yeah, it's a good win. They all rolled off there on the corner with Indy Ruler laying out, and they all got up on the winner, certainly, Snow Prince, got a beautiful run through. CJP just waited, and then it just opened up. Same for Excel Trainer, got through on the inside. And Vampire Play was pushed out wider in the incident and ran home really well, I thought. And Valsacina wasn't too bad coming down the outside. Matt, was there anything else out of the race that caught the eye?
No, on Friday I was keen Valsacina, but after the first 4, barrier 11, there's no way you could be going into that confident. I thought Snow Prince was the mapped one here in behind Indy Ruler, who had just it's the new Olga Louisa of racing, just consistently rolls off the fence, and I think that was where exactly you wanted to be, and cut through for an impressive win. It will have to go back to trials now, Indy Ruler, before returning to the races.
I want to be on in the trial.
All right.
Just scoots along. Who's faster, Alex? Olga Louisa or Indy Ruler?
Olga.
She is very quick.
I'll join the bandwagon, Olga. All right. Ryan Fraser, the steward's texts in, Rich. I know you have coffee with him occasionally. He reckons Melagrano and Subiaco is the place.
Yes, Melagrano, outstanding. Wes there behind the counter. I know Gareth Hall was a massive fan of Melagranos, as was Stephen Miller.
You could write a book or do a blog or Instagram feed about all the coffee joints in Perth, because you get some hits. All right, race number 6 on the program, first leg of the quaddie, Keyclan Handicap, and again there was plenty of chances here. Ollie's Choice on start time was your favourite from the Luthwaite yard.
Came the horseman,
the Pierce yard.
Followed by Cobb & Co. Patron of Kings is travelling okay on the inside from Bleecker Street, Mama Tembu. Ollie's Choice, Sapphire Street is sticking to the inside, trying to pick up in the straight. 3.50 to go. Big Day on it has raced up and shot to the lead from He's Gold. Into the clear, the horseman starting to run on. Cobb & Co. And further back is Sapphire Street, Mama Tembu, Bleecker Street. Inside the 150, the horseman has raced up and hit the front now from Big Day on it. Sapphire Street is late. The horseman's in front though, and the horseman has won. The horseman is first, second home. I think Big Day on it on the inside, just in front of Ollie's Choice out wide, and Sapphire Street back in the centre.
Okay, race number 6. Great ride here from Luke Campbell on the horseman. Got the horse in the plumb position just off the pace and was too strong late for Big Day on it. He kicked on well, and Sapphire Street made good ground through the field late for third, just edging out Ollie's Choice, who is now with the Pierce stable, not, of course, with the Luthwaites. What do we make, guys?
Look, horseman, wasn't Luke Campbell confident with his ride as well post-race? He was pretty happy with himself because he'd done the form on this and he thought, box seat, that's going to be mine, and that's exactly how it planned out for him. And credit where credit's due. I thought it was a good race for the horseman here, and I think it was one of those best mapped, best ride in this race, won it, where you've got some hard luck stories here. Ollie's Choice was once again monstrous, 440 favourite from barrier 10, and you kind of knew where it was going to be, and it didn't stop the punters from piling in because he was huge the start prior over in Pinjarra as well. Get on next start, huge follow. I thought it was a huge run to come back, make the ground up that he did. I thought Mama Tembu wasn't terrible either, Rich, coming back yesterday, and Elite One, I thought, made some good ground too.
Okay, back in 10th. And Memory Parade badly held up for a run all the way down the straight and got back in the field. I think this can jump cleaner and race up on speed. It's going to be pretty hard to beat at its next start. But, yeah, agree, Ollie's Choice was huge and Sapphire Street was a good weaving run. First of the 3-year-old features was the Lex Piper Stakes, and it was a race that had plenty going on. Rushing to the Bar as a last start winner was your favourite with Tab Touch at around 250 ahead of a lot of good men.
To the bar, back in the centre. It's under a bit of pressure now, trying to pick up Royal Tornado, the inside as they come to the turn. Cosmic Crusader's going well. Cosmic Crusader has raced up and shot to the front and burst clear at the 250. Russian to the bar, getting into the clear. A lot of good men the outside. Here's Russian to the bar though. Russian to the bar, raced up, took the lead from a lot of good men. Royal Tornado, Russian to the bar in front of a lot of good men, and Russian to the bar has won from a lot of good men. What a battle that was between Parnham and also Paul Harvey. Odenaka ran.
Great call, Rich. Great win, Russian to the Bar. This Russian Revolution gelding out of Rosie Rocket, who was one of my favourites back in the day from, I think, the Warwick Yard. Warwick trained Rosie Rocket. She was a great stayer. Russian to the Bar is really trending in the right direction. Has a plenty from the Luke Fernie stable. What did you say his strike rate was of late, Matt?
I think, did I say 16? 16 and a half for this season?
Whatever it is, he's absolutely flying, particularly over the last few months. And Luke joins us on the program now. Luke, congratulations on the win yesterday, mate, with Russian to the Bar, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Yeah, morning, boys. It turned out really good. Thankfully, he got the win, and he's exciting, that's for sure.
It was a fascinating race to watch, Luke, with the tactics early on with Chris and Paul, and then again halfway through the race, and a few nervous moments, and your horse was put under some pressure before the corner, but really responded well up the straight.
Yeah, it's a big credit to the horse and Chris yesterday. I think it wasn't the greatest training performance. I've probably seen him there a bit down at the 600 when he was under the bat. I thought, geez, we're in some trouble. But he showed me another side of him yesterday, and he dug deep. And he wanted to win, which was certainly very pleasing to see. And he sort of gets away from him and then waits for him to catch up again, and then he kicks away. So he's still got plenty to learn, and once he puts him away properly, he's going to be a really nice horse, that's for sure.
Luke, Matt French here. Thanks for talking to us this morning. What does his campaign look like now? He's now got the Challenge Class 1 maiden. Where do you see him moving forward to?
There's I don't know what the race is in a fortnight's time. I think it might be 2,000 or 1,800, one of them, for the 3-year-olds again. And if he pulls up well, we'll go that way. But he's obviously got plenty of ability, so we don't want to go to the well too many times. If he tells me this week that he's had enough, well, he can go to the paddock, and if not, we'll press forward.
So is there a chance of the Derby if he keeps progressing in the right direction and telling you he wants to be there this prep?
Yeah, that's where we want to end up. But like I said, he looked a little bit dour yesterday, so I've got a little bit of work to do there to sort of get him back up and going. I think the 10-day turnaround might have taken its toll on him a little bit. And that's if you're being critical. Obviously, he's won, but I think he's a lot better than what he raced yesterday as well.
Luke, we have to ask that the proceedings post-race, what did you make of the protest, and were you always confident that would go in your direction?
Well, I was sitting at the pub watching it, and someone messaged me and said there was a protest, and I was laughing. But I don't know what they're protesting at. They must have just wanted to go have a look at the stewards film. But yeah, I mean, it was a great tactical ride by Chris. I didn't think much of it. I mean, yeah, you got to have a look if you're the horse that ran second, and they have every right to. But if you're going to get it turned over at the 1,400 metre mark, there'd have to be some pretty significant interference, that's for sure.
Roberts on the 16th of March, 1,800 metres. Melvista 2,200 after the Roberts, 29th of March. The Derby 2,400 metres. You're hoping to go all the way?
Well, he should just win all of them, shouldn't he? We want to be there, but yeah, hopefully things pan out that way. I think there's a few other horses that might jump into that series as the distances increase. I know that I think Grant and Alana have one, and there's a few others around that'll step into them races as well.
Luke, what did you make of the performance of So Natalia yesterday? He seemed to fade back into the field in the Guineas. Where do you go from here?
I reckon the 10-day turnaround was an issue for her. She done it really tough when she was 3 deep in that maiden, and I think it just sort of took the wind out of her, and she was on top of the speed yesterday, so she's done plenty of work 10 days ago, and then she's gone, and put herself on top of the speed in a pretty slickly run race. And yeah, I think she was just a bit dour. I got it wrong with both them horses in that race yesterday, so we got to go back to the drawing boards and fix them up, that's for sure.
So do you go down in distance with Sonatea, or you keep her at the same kind of distance?
I don't know. I think she'll stay. I don't think that's the issue. Maybe we probably just don't start her off 10 days as a filly having her third start. It might have been a bit ambitious, and I think she's got a really big motor. That's why I wasn't too scared to put a bit of pressure on her, but we'll just have to take our medicine and come up with another plan with her now, that's for sure.
Luke, a word on your runners earlier in the day. I'm tipping you're pretty happy with that, your services performance in the 2-year-olds, and Indy Ruler a little bit wayward, but fought on pretty well after hanging out in the straight.
Yeah, after the first one got beat, I thought, geez, I don't want that to happen for the rest of the horses today, but she was super, obviously fantastic. First run for her, just had a lot of slow horses in her way, unfortunately, and makes it a bit tricky when they're 2-year-olds. They're all very green and all new to it, so it's hard to... When you're back in the field, you don't really get a fluent run into the corner a lot when you see the 2-year-old racing. And for her to pick herself up after getting knocked over a couple of times and then getting held up was really promising. And Indy Ruler drives me mad. The day he wants to run straight and not be a pain in the backside, he's going to win some nice races. We just got to be persistent with him.
All right, just touching on a couple of your other gallopers before we let you go, Luke. There's a stack we can chat to you about. What's the latest with Storm Chaser after the Magic Millions run?
Yeah, he's gone to the paddock. He was really flat after that run, and I reckon when we took him to Bunbury for that Breeders' Classic, it just knocked the wind out of him, and I thought I was chasing tail a little bit going into the Magic Millions, and bloods and everything were fine, but he just didn't recover as well as what we needed him to, so we'll give him a decent break and he can come back and go through the grades.
And Ripcord's still on song?
Yeah, flying at the moment. He's had a couple of gallops back, and looking forward to the Roma Cup.
Okay, right. And just one quick one, Canellan's Legacy, which got in 3 lengths at its last start. Is it a filly that will end up in the Noakes? Yeah,
she will be going to that that series. She'll join in there once they start to get to the 2000. I think that's in a fortnight's time as well. So she'll go 3 weeks between runs from last Saturday into the next 3-year-old staying race.
And Big Shots?
He'll go first. He'll have a little break and then go first up into the Karrakatta and then go to the Sires after that.
Luke, your team's flying at the moment, mate. Great run yesterday from Rushing to the Bar. Good luck going forward, hopefully towards a derby, and with the rest of your team as well. Thanks for giving us a bit of your time this morning.
No stress at all, boys. Have a good day.
Oh, I appreciate that. Luke Fernie joining us on the program. Let's have a quick listen to the beaten jockeys out of that race yesterday, the Lex Piper Stakes, as I get it up here.
Jordan Turner, Buckets Ridge.
Yeah, got deleted at the 1200 and actually hit the line really well, so a really good run.
Luke Campbell, Mr. Talentino.
Hey guys, look, definitely a big step up in grade for him today. He found himself in front. He travelled well through the run. I just felt like when the other horses and the better horses put pressure on us, he felt it a bit. Cheers.
Brad Parnham, Cosmic Crusader.
I sat pretty on him early and he ended up building up a bit too much steam and got a bit keen on me for a bit there and just wobbled around a bit in the straight too.
Clint Johnson Porter, Autumn Rebel.
Yeah, just had a little bit of a bad run, but he went good. I was happy with his run.
Paul Harvey, a lot of good men.
Yeah, good run, yep.
Joe Azapadia at Anaka.
Yeah, screaming out for a trip, which is good, heading towards the derby.
Rua Toronado, Michael Poy.
Good run. A little bit awkward early on. Had to go to the fence. Got a pretty smooth run through, though, but if we could have got out and building, it would have run a pretty close race.
All right, guys, a summation from yesterday's Lex Piper.
Yeah, well, Rushing to the Bar continues on. Another terrific win and heading in the right direction with the 3 big ones coming up with the Roberts, the Melvista and the Derby. We've heard from Luke. He's pretty confident the horse will keep going on with the job. A lot of good men, was terrific. Looked in fantastic order heading out and ran a terrific race after racing wide. Just kept giving and finding, and it was only in the last 50 where Rushing to the Bar was able to hold a lot of good men at bay. And a few of the others ran well. Odanaka was good enough, so was Royal Toronado. Autumn Rebel was okay, got held up, then got clear running the final 100 and plugged away. And Cosmic Crusader, Matt, on the turn it looked to be really travelling, but there was a few horses yesterday who loomed, but there was no zoom.
Yeah, certainly did. Great summation there. I think it got backed into as well. 350 Cosmic Crusader, and on the turn hit the lead strongly. I think it might have just maybe Fitness Mile first up might have got to it, and we just heard Brad's comments there.
All right, let's move along to the Ascot 1000 Guineas for Schweppes, and Own the Queen was the favourite here at around $3.
Third place, Sonatea. Own the Queen travelled up stylishly. Moves up on the outside, right on the back of Sonatea, and Star Rating is following the favourite as well. Queen Nardi's one off the fence, looking for a run as they turn, guarding heaven. Sonatea and his Own the Queen now, putting in a blistering burst. Own the Queen has raced up and shot to the front. Star Rating, Miss Sky High is coming down the outside, but Own the Queen burst clear. Miss Sky High finishing hard. Own the Queen's got the break. Miss Sky High won't get there, and Own the Queen scores a dazzling win of the 1,000 guineas. Own the Queen beat Miss Sky High, Star Rating, and then we had...
Own the Queen up 400 metres in trip, second up. Brilliant display when 3 at start 4. Defeated Miss Sky High and Star Rating. Matt, what did you make of this win yesterday of Own the Queen?
Oh, it was a good win, wasn't it? Jeez, it had a good turn of foot and just put them away very quickly. I thought it was a good ride by Troy as well. He was able to get in and midfield. He was able to find a slot, and I reckon that was the winning move here. I think who did he find the slot from? I think it was Geordie Turner, actually, Star Rating. So Star Rating made the decision to obviously follow favourite in the race, and that's allowed Troy to get a great run throughout, I thought. And I tell you what, Miss Sky High was a big run though, Rich, from 10th on the turn. Absolutely flew home, I thought, for a pattern on the day, which was pretty tough to do.
Yeah, she's bounced back from that previous run where she was just even in finishing 4th, and she's right on target now, and she's going to step up in trip and be very, very competitive, and could well be the Oaks winner, although a lot of people are pinning their faith with Own the Queen. She can dominate her races, and she did that again yesterday. And I thought the dash she showed at the 200 is the sort of dash you see in a group horse. Star Rating's racing really, really well. Probably next campaign, I think Star Rating will be even better. But that was a fairly tough effort. The only other one I could mention in terms of an Oaks perspective is She's Perfection. Picked up good ground from the back, was working home quite stylishly. Bohemian Diamond, the other Morton runner, was a bit of a grinding kind of a run, but maybe stepping up in trip, Bohemian Diamond will respond.
I thought that yesterday, actually thought it would be wanting that trip, and after watching it, I think it will want even further Bohemian Diamond.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's a pretty good summation of the race. Sonatea, we just heard about that from Luke Fernie, and what a great advertisement for Own the Dream competition as well, for Own the Queen being able to put on such a display as well. I know it's a great initiative of Perth Racing and RAWA, and it's become so popular now. It's just a great thing to see.
Spot on. Race number 9 on the program, the Western Race Picks Handicap. We've spoken about it. I reckon there's plenty that got out here with icebergs from the Mitch Pateman stable. Holly Watson went where Angels Fear to tread up the inside there, squeezed through a gap, got through, and was successful, defeating Filthy Habits, and Dad's Big Headed back in third.
On the outside, Icebergs has always travelled well, and then Kane just behind them. Zaza Rock is taking off around the outside. It goes now as they straighten up. Dad's Big Headed is battling on as well as they come down with 300 metres to go. Filthy Habits is just in front. Dad's Big Headed, Dark Missile getting up on the inside as well as Icebergs. It's a great go. Filthy Habits, Icebergs gets right up on the inside though. Icebergs scraping the paint. Dad's Big Headed also, and it's Dad's Big on the inside. Icebergs just getting the nose down in front, and Icebergs, I think, from Filthy Habits, Dad's Big Headed, and on the outside in good order then Dark Missile Satino.
Icebergs, a big win and a great finish, defeating Filthy Habits, and Dad's Big Headed at big odds into third.
Yeah, Icebergs just scraping the paint there. There was a fair bit of room there from about the 250 metre mark, and Icebergs just gradually crept through that gap and was able to just nail Filthy Habits just before the line. Filthy Habits was terrific again. Gee, this horse is a real fighter for a horse by I'm All the Talk. Gee, it shows some tenacity, Matt.
Yeah, very consistent now as well. And look, the winning move was literally Filthy Habits rolling off the fence on the turn, and you can see Lucy trying to correct him, but he just didn't want to go back onto the fence. And because of that, Icebergs was able to go up on the inside because we had Dad's Big Headed, Zaza Rock, and Dark Missile that all put her in the box, and there was nowhere to go. And lucky for her and for the horse, it was able to get out. And I think the Pateman Yard have got a pretty good good opinion of this horse, and I think they're going to a derby if they can.
Yeah, in good order, loomed up and looked a chance at the 200, but couldn't get past them. I did like the run of Satino, Matt. Picked up pretty good ground.
Eye-catching, I thought. And in comparison to Alaskan, who raced, I thought, poor yesterday, and not because he couldn't make ground yesterday, but because he had horses, and no disrespect to Kia or a Jewel, but like horses of that kind running past him, and we thought he was going quite well. So I'm not sure what we do with him moving forward.
And Beats of War.
On Racing Rewind, it is time for the boys to look back and determine who are the black bookers, the ones to be on next start, the horses to follow.
Beats of War, Rich, you like that run as well?
No, I didn't. I might just need a little bit of a break because it's failed its last two after having some superb staying form.
All right, well.
Horses to follow, I've got a few here, but I could start with Material Witness. I think he's going very well. Jackpot Bingo, Sapphire Street, and Ollie's Choice.
It's funny you say Material Witness because I had a brain fade in the last race and I was about to call Filthy Habits Material Man with about 25 metres to go, hence the stumbling.
Rider.
Oh,
yeah.
Good horse.
Yeah, he was a great horse, Material Man. Perth Cup winner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Marinsky Ballet, I've got down as one to watch. Race 3, finished well. So Dream a Lot, he finished third last in race 2. Forget It went round. I only saw daylight late. I think it's one to follow. She's Perfection out of the 1,000 guineas. I think by the time She's Perfection gets to an Oaks, I think she'll be a player.
All right, we've had a few texts come through. Probably not going to have too much time to get through them, unfortunately. Good to hear Richie calling Saturday races yesterday one of the best in WA. Paul Harvey, a man of very few words. No, spot on there. Slammer, morning boys. Why are we consistently having races at Ascot where the 600-metre sectional is absent? It cannot be that hard. We'll have to chase that one up. I'm not sure.
The timing, the first two, is you're talking about the first two races where there was no 600-metre sectional timings?
Must be, yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that too this morning. Disappointing.
All right, Esperance today. We've got 90 seconds until the news. Their big day, the Freightlines Group Esperance Cup worth $100,000 is the feature. I know you guys have done the form, certainly on a few of the races. What did we like out of the program?
Well, the champion, the Sky Channel Plate, I thought was a really interesting race. Fast Flicker's got the form on the board. Has raced in better company, finished second at its last start behind Autumn Rebel. Now, that was a terrific run, but bumps into Blue Can Talk, who was sizzling winning last start, and it's hard to line the two horses up. They do look the two. The only other horse I'd consider would be Jericho's Echo, who was tremendous 2 starts ago, and they were a very good win last start. So I'll be lining those three up in race number 6. Matt, have you had a quick look at the Esperance Cup?
Esperance Cup, tough cup, I think, with big fields as well down there. So I think we've got Let's Deal and Mavanendra, barrier 17, barrier 18, very tough from out there, and the map's going to be sticky. But if Clint or Allen can get one of those horses into a good follow position, I think they'll be tough to beat, but I think we can follow some of the Esperance form out of going around lately, and I would not be afraid to be putting $1 or $2 on Hoist the Colours and Vivensky on an each-way basis.
Okay, yeah, they've both been toughing out well. Manavandra certainly unlucky. Forget It went round last start when held up for a run at Pinjarra.
Yeah, it's the 3:30 favourite. Sky Thoroughbred Central coverage throughout the day at Esperance, and first race due to go there at 1:32. Guys, thank you for your time on Racing Rewind this morning. Appreciate it as always.